The Russian hacking, the wall, Obamacare, Donald Trump answering questions or kind of sort of about all that and more today at a news conference that needed to be seen to be believed at Trump Towers. He also spelled out his plan for the Trump Organization and how he'll turn control over to his adult sons. But the question is, will that tamp down all those conflict of interest concerns? The answer, I don't think not so much. Then we'll bring our legal panel. We will look at how Jeff Sessions may impact the laws of the land once he's confirmed, if he's confirmed, to be our country's top law enforcement officer. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thank you so much for joining us on what is a very busy Wednesday. We begin with Donald Trump's first news conference, and it's the first one we've seen since, well, you have to go back to July. Here's how he kicked things off.
There's a great spirit going on right now, a spirit that many people have told me they've never seen before, ever. We're going to create jobs. I said that I will be the greatest jobs producer that God ever created.
Apparently, though, not the most modest. The presser ran for about an hour, including a lecture from one of Trump's attorneys. But the big question everybody wanted answered, the lead story we had for you last night that broke in the 5 o'clock hour, was Trump, and more specifically his response to the bombshell of yesterday, the unproven as of yet claims that Russia has compromising information about Trump's personal and or financial life.
I think it's a disgrace that information would be let out. I saw the information, I read the information outside of that meeting. It's all fake news, it's phony stuff. It didn't happen, and it was gotten by opponents of ours, but I read what was released, and I think it's a disgrace. I think it's an absolute disgrace. As far as hacking, I think it was Russia, but I think we also get hacked by other countries and other people.
Now, you heard that last part. He thinks it was Russia. Well, later, Trump talked about how the U.S. and Russia's relationship might be impacted by what Trump and Putin think of one another.
If Putin likes Donald Trump, I consider that an asset, not a liability, because we have a horrible relationship with Russia. Russia can help us fight ISIS, which, by the way, is #1 tricky. If Putin likes Donald Trump, guess what, folks? That's called an asset, not a liability. Now, I don't know that I'm going to get along with Vladimir Putin. I hope I do, but there's a good chance I won't. And if I don't, do you honestly believe that Hillary would be tougher on Putin than me? Does anybody in this room really believe that? Give me a break.
And yes, he third-personed himself quite a bit there, and it was not the last time in that hour. But later, when Trump was asked about his tax returns, especially given the reporting about Russia and potentially, information that could be used to blackmail him of the financial variety, Trump responded this way.
Will you release your tax returns to prove what you're saying about no deals in Russia?
Well, I'm not releasing the tax returns because, as you know, they're under audit.
But every president since the 70s has had a
gee, I've never heard that. I've never heard that. I've never heard that. You know, the only one that cares about my tax returns are the reporters. Okay, they're the only ones. But no, I don't think so. I won. I mean, I became president. No, I don't think they care at all. I don't think they care at all. I think you care. I think you care.
Well, before I give you the numbers, remember, he did promise to return them once the audit was finished. And we don't even know if the audit has been finished or not. But again, why let facts or promises get in the way? Now, to the point that the American public doesn't care about this, well, once again, that would be they do. Take a look at these numbers regarding whether or not Trump ought to release his tax returns. 3 out of 5 Americans say it is necessary for Trump to do just that. That in a CBS News poll that came out since the election. In fact, it came out in December. Okay, so with that as a backdrop, and frankly in a press conference needed to be seen to be believed here, let me bring in my panel. Dominic Carter, political journalist and author. He's a lot of things, I can tell you that much. He was also there at the actual press conference today. We'll find out his take firsthand. Andrew Whitman, our senior political correspondent. Also not a consultant. It's been a very long day, guys, and we're just starting. Okay. people would come in and out of my office while the thing was on, and they'd look at me, and my jaw, I swear, hit my chest a few times. Not just by what he said, what he didn't say, the theatrics of it, him calling CNN basically fake news and refusing to even call on them when he's referencing their own report. Him saying that he wouldn't dignify what was in that BuzzFeed, which was not the amended report that the intelligence agencies provided both him as well as also President Obama about that potential story, that there could be information in the hands of the Russians that could be potentially of the blackmail variety for Trump on the financial and personal level. There was a separate part that was very salacious. The three of us have already read it. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience has as well. But it had to do with BuzzFeed talking about him doing some really ugly stuff. So he said he wouldn't even comment on something that was in a briefing. But then he'll talk about the stuff that nobody other than BuzzFeed says is legitimate at this point because none of it's been corroborated. And he goes into some detail that you wanted to wash your hands after he was done. It was surreal to watch it on TV. I can imagine what it was like seeing it firsthand.
I'm going to create a term tonight. We've had Slick Willie, Slick Donald. The only way you're going to catch him, Richard, is you've got to produce the tape. Sort of like what happened with Monica Lewinsky, Mr. President.
Or how about TMZ with him?
Right. Mr. President, please don't deny this because we have your DNA on the dress. That's the only way you're going to catch this guy. I really believe, having been down there today, that news organizations, you can't continue with these, I don't mean this to be offensive, with these young reporters.
It's not just young reporters.
But you got to have the most seasoned. Who was the guy, his name escapes me, from ABC with Reagan? He was very, Sam Donaldson. You've got to have 50 Sam Donaldsons and one of me, to put myself in there, not in the third person, to go after him and going to follow up. See, they didn't follow up.
But
okay,
you know why? You're right. But Andrew, it's a different reason. I'm watching that and I realized this is not some great strategy by him. It's so much controversial stuff surrounding him that it's like there's a fire hose of information. And there's so much coming at you. You're like, wait a minute. What did he just say? Wait a minute. Then he brings out an attorney with the most fakakta idea of what could be eliminating conflicts of interest. Your mind wants to go there, but you said, wait a minute, what did you say about Putin? You said he probably did it, but yet you, in the third person, talking about yourself, you guys are going to have a great relationship. Well, wait a minute, about building the wall? You also said Mexico's going to pay. Wait, how did that happen? And then Obamacare. There was a million things of of significance that came out today.
That we really wanted answers
but
to.
But it's so much that you can't even process it because all of it would be more than in one day for any regular administration of scandal.
First of all, it's been 6 months since his last press conference, and I had forgotten what it was like. I mean, this was just like his press conferences during the campaign, where he starts a new controversy while he's answering another one, where he doesn't give any specifics. He pivots away and doesn't allow anybody to do follow-ups. And he seems completely tone deaf to the concerns that American voters have about his potential legitimacy. And you contrast that to the president that's in office right now, who seemed like he would go out of his way to at least address concerns that people had, even if he couldn't give them the answers that they necessarily wanted. Trump is so defensive that any of these things might tarnish his image, that he simply won't engage either in the conversation or in the proof that would put some of those concerns to rest. We played the one question and answer that came out about the tax returns. And I was shocked that that was the only time that came up, especially given these accusations that are coming out in this report that came out about his activities in Russia. You would think he would be the first one to say, hey, here's my tax returns. You can see I don't have anything going on with Russia. At least we can put that part of it to bed.
Or how about intelligence agencies who the night before, last night, Donald Trump, the president-elect, compared our intelligence agencies to basically Nazi Germany. Yeah. That was his words, because this got out. Now, he didn't say, by the way, that I want them to get to the bottom of this to prove that it has no veracity into it. He just said that he took issue that it became public, what was said. He did deny it. And there is no authenticity to say that the allegations are true. But again, as is usual with adults, there's a distinction. okay? And it has a major significance. Now, he lumps CNN with BuzzFeed. I'm not on the CNN payroll, but it's extremely important everybody at home sees the difference. I'm going to read the statement, this from CNN, about the Russian hacking and about BuzzFeed, okay? And about how the two are mutually exclusive. Quote, CNN's decision, which they did last night, to publish carefully sourced reporting about the operations of our government is vastly different than BuzzFeed's decision to publish unsubstantiated memos. The Trump team knows this. They're using BuzzFeed's decision to deflect from their own reporting, which has been watched by other major network organizations. We are fully confident in our reporting. It represents the core of what the First Amendment protects. Guys, I don't know what comes out of this. Part of me yesterday thought my conspiracy theories were validated with some of the reporting. Time will tell if it's true or not. But nonetheless, I was more than disturbed by what I saw today. I was a little bit worried about the whole idea that the executive branch works for the American people. It felt like it got reversed. So, with Trump now finally unveiling his plan to deal with conflicts of interest between businesses, his new job as Oval Office, and the son-in-law, the daughter, and the sons, and everything else, the question is, all right, we got a plan, but does it really address the concerns? We'll get into that after this.